It was great to get out there today. It was a lot of fun. We've had a really good spring practice. A lot of the goals that we set out to accomplish to make sure that we're developing a team of toughness and ability to play with discipline. And I think it's getting louder, Mike. We'll just wait. We'll wait, guys, if y'all go with that. It's gonna drive me crazy. It was that easy. All right. Good to get out there for the spring game, the white and gold game. We split the teams up the way we did because of the really the numbers you have in spring practice at certain positions. We wanted to be able to keep all the defense in the gold jerseys, all the offense in white jerseys. So you really couldn't go white and gold and be able to split the teams up like we did. But I wanted to split teams up, give the kids, the guys on the team something to really have some fun with, and so it's not the same thing they're doing every day in practice, and have some competition to it, have some fun in the locker room the last couple of days. But at the same time, we've talked about since January of not talking to the opponent and focusing all of our energy on ourselves and our play and how we play, how we go out and execute. And I thought they did a good job of that. And it's easy when you get into a competitive state like a spring game against your own team to be able to go out there and start talking trash because it's your teammates. But they did a really good job of not doing that. And that was something we talked about yesterday. So that was a real step in the right direction. We talked about prior to spring, developing the toughness on the team, the mental toughness, the physical toughness, the discipline of the team with penalties and turnovers and playing the game the right way, not beating ourselves, the ability to execute when your number's called. If you get the best you can get in the game of football is a one-on-one opportunity, whether it's a one-on-one opportunity to rush the passer, one-on-one opportunity to make a play on the ball, offense and defense. And you got to be able to execute and make those plays. And then the commitment to each other was something we've really been working towards. And all those things, today is not an ending point at all. And I want to make sure that everyone understands that and the players understand that this is not an ending point. This is not a point where we sit back and say, oh, yay, here's where we are. This just kind of concludes the next phase of our preparation for the upcoming season, and that's the way everyone's got to look at that. They got to say, okay, we had our off-season workouts leading up to spring ball. All right, that was the first part. Now we've had spring practice. That's the second part. Then that third part really becomes our ability to go out and execute on our exams. That's the next 2-week, 3-week stretch for our team that's so critical and so important that they study, they understand the material that they're given in classes. That they go out and they do as well as they possibly can on those exams, because again, all that comes back to the player availability within the team for the season. Then after that will come the summer workouts and OTAs, and then into preseason camp. So again, this is just another step in our process of building our football team for this season. So are there good things out there? Yeah, there were good things, and made some plays both sides of the football. Obviously, it was a little of a laxed referee crew. I thought there was a lot of calls out there they probably could have made that they missed. I thought it was pretty good for us, though. No penalties. That's huge. Now, if I had to grade the refs, I thought they missed a bunch of things. So I don't know how that happened today, but it gave the kids a chance to have some fun out there. So, but we've got a long way to go. Make no mistake about it. We've got a long way to go. Today was just, kind of the end and some fun for the fans to be able to see where we're at, see some of the players, let the players get out there and run around and make some plays. And but we got a lot of work to do, and I think we have a chance this year to put something together that that we could be proud of and have some success with. But again, we've got no idea right now. Just because you think you have a chance to do something later on doesn't mean you're happy about where you're at right now. And that's the way we all have to look at it as players, as coaches, as a full staff, as everyone involved at Georgia Tech, that we can't be any way content of where we're at right now. All right, can't be happy. We can't be satisfied. All right, is there a chance to be satisfied and happy later on? Yes, but we have to stay hungry. We have to understand what our end-all goal is as a football team, and we have to make sure that we continue to work that way that we have been, and press that way, and keep working every day, one day at a time. We've said it since the start, guys. Be where your feet are. you learn from the past, you learn from the mistakes of the past, and you can do nothing but prepare for what comes in the future. So that's where we're at right now. With that, I'll take any questions. Kelly.
Brent, I was just curious, obviously down a little bit at outside receiver, creative with using Christian and Malik there, and just what did you see from those slot guys? And obviously I thought DJ Moore also had a nice day as well.
You know, a lot of times people get caught up in somebody playing slot, somebody playing outside, inside. To me, a great receiver is a great receiver. I mean, it has nothing to do with where you play. If you got one receiver on the field and 22 personnel, he's got to play outside. You got two receivers and 12, they got to play outside. I mean, you go slot formation, one has to play in the slot, one has to play. So you can't really get caught up in that when you want to be able to play with tempo and you want to be able to use multiple formations. At the end of the day, we want our best receivers on the field. We want guys that can make plays with us, and we need to have 8, 9 receivers that can go play. Because I mean, Malik runs down the field and all of a sudden it's an incomplete pass. That's a long way to run your butt back. All right, but they got to do it, right? Yeah, exactly. They got to run back. They got to go do those things. But to be able to have somebody else where the quality doesn't step down is what's important. And I thought those guys did that today. I thought they went out and made the play on the ball. They attacked the ball. I think there's 3 or 4 out there that I remember just off the top of my head that we should have made the play on. We made a couple of contested catches, but we didn't make a couple of contested catches. All right. DB's made a couple of good plays. DB's got beat over the top on a couple of plays. So I mean, that's what you look for in a spring game. You want some give and take on both sides of the ball. But overall, I've been pleased with the progress of the receivers. And I'm not going to go without saying this: the progress of the receivers, really from the first day of spring practice to now. The thing I've been the most encouraged with them is their toughness, their willingness to go in and block. I mean, you saw a lot of the perimeter screens that we're throwing, kind of the running back and out on the edge, and those guys. It doesn't matter who's in there. I mean, all 128 pounds of Malik. I mean, he's out there blocking on the edge, blocking on the perimeter, doing all the dirty work. And when you can do that, now you get the play actions, you get the bubble and goes, you get all those things off of it.
Going into the spring, I think maybe the running back room might have had a lot of question marks with Dante, the one experienced guy. Maybe Jamie had a couple of games towards the end of the season, but it seemed today they really stood out to the the casual fan.
Are you saying you're a casual fan? No. Yeah, they did. That group has been a solid group all spring. It's not a surprise to me that they had success today because when you look at the way that they've practiced and you look what Norv has done with that group, really from the first day, if you turn on day 1 of practice 4 weeks ago, I mean, those guys, if they don't have the ball or they do have the ball, they're sprinting 60 yards down the field. They're finishing every single play. They've been practicing that way for the last 4 weeks to be able to put themselves in position to have some success. Now, they continue to carry that on, all right, and do that now for these next segments of our preparation for the season. I think that they have a chance to be a really, really solid group. Tay has a lot of experience, here. Proud of Tay, the way he's you continue to step up and carry the load and be able to whether it's a receiver out of the backfield, whether it's pass blocking from the running backs. I mean, if you can't catch the ball, you can't hold on to the football, and you can't pass block, you're not going to play running back here. I promise you that. We've got to be a balanced offense and be able to do both. So, but overall, I've been pleased with their progress. But again, like everything, we've got a long way to go.
Okay. Was there a quarterback who stood out to you today of the 3?
I couldn't tell. They all had the same color jersey on. I really, I was the happiest with, Brody Rhodes. I mean, to see Brody go in there, throw the deep ball, pull the zone read a few times, take off running. I mean, he's made a lot of progress this spring. Love Brody. Doubles as our signaler a lot of times during games. I thought Brody really did a nice job today.
It seemed to be, obviously, with the score of the game, the offense kind of ruled the day for this game. Did you guys intentionally kind of pull the defense back a little more vanilla? I didn't see too many blitzes or anything like that, just see if there was any restrictions on them as to kind of keep them from, I guess, showing too much or anything.
Yeah, I owe Andrew something tonight. No, there was look, guys, they had one call. They had one base call, 2 coverage calls, and one pressure call. All right. This is not indicative of the progress our defense has made. I promise you that. There is, I mean, you're right, there was no blitzing. There was very basic coverage. I've kind of told those guys, Thack, Cher, who was on the other side. I mean, swallow their pride a little bit, and they did. But that's where we're at. We got to be able to. We've had 14 daggum good days of practicing football, and I know what those guys are. I know what Thack is as a quarterback. I know what Thack is as a play caller. I know how we execute when we can run our whether it be our 4-man sim blitzes, our 5-man, 6-man. I know how we can do those things. So again, no, not indicative at all.
You've talked a little bit this spring about wanting to have the ability to run the football when the other team knows you're going to run the football, and to be able to stop the run when you know the other team is going to run the football. There were quite a few 3rd and short and goal-to-go situations today. How do you think both sides of the ball held up in those respects?
Yeah, again, from the defensive standpoint today, they had some stops on them. They did. They flat-walled the line of scrimmage a couple of times and forced the ball to bounce outside. And instead of being able to stick our nose in it, that's something our running backs, Tay, we need to really improve on is understanding the situation. We need to understand when it's a 3rd and 1, when it's a 4th and 1. We need to understand what the intent of that play is. Is it an A-gap play? I mean, we had way too many, but we're running counter plays today. They're hitting and bouncing outside and getting 1 yard, 2 yard losses on it. Where we should be hammering them up in there and getting 3 yard gains. So that's the progression. We got to take the filming. We got to move to the next level when it comes to that, and then understanding the situation. But like everything in spring, it's not as much scheme for us this spring as much as lining up and be able to sustain and finish a block. Line up on the defensive side, flat wall the line of scrimmage. Use your hands and get off a block. So I think it was good and bad when it came to that. One guy I saw down in towards the red area. Once we got inside that 5 yard line on the goal line, I thought Zeke Biggers stood out, making some plays and running sideline to sideline, running from inside out and making plays. Him and Horace, you look from the other side and you see both those guys in there at defensive tackle, and that's a big defensive line when those guys are in there. All right, but you got to be, just because you can do it on one play, you got to be consistent, be able to do it throughout the whole time. So.
Yeah, Coach, you talked about not wanting to put the emphasis on another team and strictly on you guys this last month and on today. So with this being the phase you can put behind you now, what kind of grade do you give you and your coaching staff after having seen you guys work out that today?
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
What kind of grade do you give to yourself and your coaching staff for what you guys have been able to accomplish so far and what we saw today?
I don't have a grade per se to put on us right now, but we'll come in on Monday. We'll take the day off tomorrow. We'll come in on Monday at 8 a.m. We'll start. We'll have a team meeting first, and we'll go through kind of the processes of the next couple of weeks. We'll have a staff meeting right after that, and we'll staff for most of the day, and we'll really evaluate where we are as a program, what we've got to do moving forward. Then at 1 o'clock we'll get together, meet myself and AJ and others. We'll really set out the summer part of the program. We'll meet with every player on the team. Every player on the team will meet with the strength coach. They'll meet with academics. They'll meet with the trainer. They'll meet with their position coach, the coordinator, and myself. Over the course of next week. So number one is it's showing where the players where they're at right now, and that's where the honesty comes in. We've got to be honest. We've got to understand. I mean, you can't be gray in this matter. You can't tell somebody one thing and actually mean something else. I mean, we got to be up front. We have to be truthful, and that'll take place next week. And at the same time, I'll be evaluating where we are. Is offense, defense, special teams. A lot of that started last week. What we've got to continue to work on, installation wise, and what we've got to work on to improve, moving into the summer.
Got time for a couple more, Kelly.
I'm just curious, kind of what have you kind of ascertained from your special teams now? Obviously, a missed field goal, made field goal, and PATs were good. Punting looked okay. Just kind of what have you seen, I guess, this spring overall? From
special teams wise, we've been very, very segmented. A lot of drill work this spring. A lot of fundamental work. One of the big things we've worked on is teaching offensive players how to tackle. That's something that's been, when you think about it, I mean, how many offensive players play on special teams, and yet they don't do tackling drills during the day. So we've incorporated a lot of those, to get our guys learning how to tackle when that chance comes. Obviously there's no rush out there today. It was on air with the punt, just to be able to flip the field. And we had the one opening kickoff, but again, we're putting the pieces together. It's a part whole. We're not trying to throw everything at them at once when it comes to special teams. We've done a lot of work on teams over the course of spring, for the ability to move into the season and be a solid unit. Because I mean, I think you guys all know the importance I put on special teams and how important it is to the success of our team, and we've got to play the best guys on those teams.
Ken, and then wrap us up.
Brent, you mentioned the toughness, and you mentioned like the receivers as an example. What have you seen from the start of practice, from spring practice till now, in terms of what you wanted to see, and where do you guys stand as far as where you want to get to?
Yeah, we're learning how to practice. We've learned that it's, it's a different type of practice. Some things are always the same when it comes to practicing the game of football, but just the understanding of not coming in and you got full pads in your locker, and they understand. If we practice football, what are we practicing, guys? Full pads. That's what we play in, right? We play in full pads. We practice in full pads, except for the days of the NCAA, makes you not. So, understanding what we're doing practice-wise, understanding, how to practice. And when I say how to practice, all right, there's how to play, but there's also how to practice. There's different tempos of practice. There's live, there's scrimmage, there's thud, there's tag off, and a lot of that goes to being able to, extend player availability and be able to practice hard. But when you practice the right way, you can do things that way. You can be more competitive with your practices, right? But it also, when the time comes, you can take a little bit of the blow off of the guys. So I think the expectation has been set of what needs to take place in practice. So there's not going to be a shock when we come to summer camp of what it's going to be. Now we've got to take what we've learned in the spring, and now we've got to elevate that. All right, we've got to elevate the way we practice. The efficiency in between. We've got to elevate our ability to, not play a 4-play rack of a team run period, or a 4 or 6-play rack of a 7-on-7. Now being able to get to 8-play racks of move the field and playing with tempo, and not looking to sub in and out. So it's taking what we've learned now and it's elevating that.
Raj, you got to wrap us up.
Defensively, you've had some good competition at the cornerback spot, and earlier in the week, Coach Tillman talked about Amari Harvey and how, he practiced hard, gets his teammates up. It seemed like that translated to the field today, and he had a pretty good day. Is he a guy that's maybe working his way towards putting himself in a position to get reps?
Yeah, all of them are, working, towards that. Again, Amari was banged up a little bit at the start of spring, so once he got the red jersey off, he was able to get out there and start making some plays and becoming a better player. Yeah, he does show up. He flashes out there. You see him come up. He's not afraid, and that's important at that position, to have a skill set to be able to cover people, but at the same time not be afraid to come up and make a tackle. And that's what I like about Amari. He has shown, and he's growing up. He's maturing. So he's got a good future in front of him. So I'm excited to continue to see that progression for him.
Coach, thank you.
I appreciate it, guys. Go Jackets.